Alrighty, hi guys. I know I've been gone for a while, a lot longer than I intended to go for. Stuff's kind of happened, so I'll just, I'll just go through some stuff that has happened. Yes, I've made this outfit, so I'll talk about it very briefly, though there isn't really very much to talk about. And yeah, I'm blonde. So things that have happened in the sort of 5 weeks that I've been gone, and I'm just doing this video really quickly now because I went onto my YouTube channel and I very briefly, you know, when you're like checking things on your phone, look, and there was a comment about me being gone, like somebody noticed that I was gone. I think it was, I can't remember what their name was. I have a feeling it was Lisa, Kylie. Oh, those names sound nothing alike, so yeah, I'm doing well. As you may have noticed in other videos, I'm really bad at remembering names. I also have really, really bad facial recognition skills, like virtually none. And apparently you can be born without any, and I think I was. Somebody could come back to me in 2 hours and I think they're a completely different person. It's happened. It's legit happened. They just need to change their outfit and I'm done. Where was I? Okay. So in the last 5 weeks, well, about a week after I did my last video, unfortunately, Frankie, my baby girl who was in some of those videos, passed away. I was like, it's been 4 weeks, it's been a month. Okay. I might do just a little montage of video at the end. I have some cute videos of Frankie. Her cancer must have got the best of her. We just don't really know what the tumour was that was in her nose. She couldn't breathe. She had been doing really well for a couple of days. Like, she'd been getting up in the morning like she always used to greet me, or get me out of bed mostly for breakfast. And, you know, 9 o'clock at night comes around and she's like, oh, it's time for bed. Come and get me, take me to bed. And then I went out to dinner with my dad. I left her inside. She doesn't like being left inside, but it's winter and it's cold. So I left her inside and she had very, very bad diarrhea and vomiting. Like, I've never seen anything like it. She'd completely stopped by the time I got home. She seemed to be completely well and happy before I left. When I opened the door to get in the house, she was waiting at the front door. She jumped up to see me, and then, you know, I took her straight out the back. So I was like, oh my God, nobody wants to be in this house. It stinks, smells. It took me 3 hours to clean it up. There are rugs, like my laundry rug and the rug that was here. They're in the bin. They're gone. But then she just didn't recover. She wouldn't come back inside, which is not like her. She normally stays where she can see me all the time. That night, like, I left the door open all night long. It was freezing. It was a storm, and she just stayed outside. I tried to put blankets on her. She'd kind of crawl out of the blankets. She wasn't moving a lot. At one point, she was lying in the dirt, in the cold, like the damp dirt. So then 4 o'clock the next afternoon, I took her to the vet, and they sort of said they could patch her back together, but this was really the end. They don't know why she would have got diarrhea like that, and also why it stopped. Was it kind of weirder, they said. I just said stop because there's nothing left in her. She hadn't eaten, she hadn't had any fluids. So we let her go, on the vet's advice, which was pretty tough. And the following week was very, very tough. I mean, I'd had her for 7 years. She was 12 and a half. For a Labrador, like, she's a lab cross with everything. But for a Labrador, that's pretty average lifespan. So, yeah, clearly I still really miss her. And then what else? Yeah, then I decided to bleach my hair, which turns out, look, I'll be straight with you, I don't really like it. I have been, like, most of my life, and maybe I've got some photos, I don't know. I'm not going to do very much editing because I've actually recorded 2 or 3 other videos, so you might see other videos pop up of me as a brunette again, that I've been in the process of editing. And there was another reason for all of this delay is because I was learning how to use Premiere Pro. My computer was getting really, really clogged up. I needed to then go and buy some more memory and like a backup storage drive for that. And try and sort out how to use those files so that I could then get back into learning how to use the program without it being so slow and not working properly, which I think as of yesterday, I finally sorted it. I think. Yesterday didn't start working, but then maybe about half an hour in, suddenly it did all the things it's supposed to do. So fingers crossed. And I can edit. And yeah, so the point was, I mean, maybe I have some photos of me. I've either, most of my life had black hair or blonde hair, like platinum blonde, or both at the same time. But all the times in my life where it's been in the middle of that range, I've never liked it. I had talked about this to my hairdresser, like, you know, I've either been platinum blonde or super, super dark. But the reason why I wanted to strip the colour out of it as it was is that I'm going very, very grey. And dyeing it dark all the time, and my hair grows quite quickly. I was just constantly having to be at the hairdresser's, getting it redone. I mean, I can redo it myself, but it's also a freaking pain in the butt. And yeah, within like 2 to 3 weeks, the grey roots are showing really badly. And yeah, if you do see one of those brunette videos that come up, one of them, it's really, really obvious. Because at that point, I was trying to grow it out. And I was like, okay, so we lighten it enough that we can just start regrowing it and have it natural. So I have sort of mousy brown, I guess, very, very ashy brown hair naturally that does sort of sun bleach, if I can vaguely remember that as a child, to quite a sort of reddy toned blonde. I know, from ash brown to red blonde. It's not great, which is why I've dyed it my whole life. And now I'm just going to try growing it out from here, I think. Maybe put some, foils through it or something. I don't know. It is still quite dark at the back. The grey's just at the front. Anyway, I guess you'll get to experience that if I keep doing these video type things. Alright, so onto the sewing. I have done a whole lot of winter sewing, which I do intend to show you, including 2 knit dresses, which I really, really love. One of which I did put a photo on Instagram of. But it's been super cold, so it's been all of the knit stuff. As of today, Lush Fabrics have a sale on for the weekend. So I'm recording Friday. Goodness knows if I'm going to get this video up very quickly. Recording Friday. And the sale ends on Monday, I think. Just find out when we get this up, I guess. But yeah, they do all of like the knit fabrics and stuff like that in like prints and checks and stripes and lots of florals, which I made a few up of. And so I desperately tried to make up the rest of my stash in time for the sale, but I think I've talked myself out of buying on the sale. At the moment, I've talked myself out of it. Because I'm going on this kind of like working on my new collection. So another thing, I have done a little bit of work on my new collection, but the other thing that slowed me down was one of my main clients is going into production, and it's been a lot of work. Just getting all the samples ready, getting all of those final decisions made, ordering all the labels, ordering all that kind of stuff. I will be doing videos about this sort of businessy type fashion stuff. You guys are probably not interested in fashion business, but there might be other people who are. The video that I've been editing, seriously trying to work out Premiere Pro at the same time. Man, this conversation is all over the place. Oh well. Editing trying to learn how to edit with Premiere Pro at the same time as editing this particular video, where I'm trying to do a very factual video about how to do a fashion photo shoot and what that's going to look like, and if you're on your first photo shoot. And it's supposed to be dot points. It's supposed to be precise. It's like, these are the sorts of things that are going to happen. And oh, it's so rambly. It's so all over the place. I mean, I think I recorded it maybe a couple of days before Frankie passed. And, you know, I was tired and stressed. I'm still quite stressed. I'm actually breaking out. I'm trying to figure out what makeup to wear to go with this blonde hair. And today I've actually put on a foundation that I haven't worn in ages. Which turns out to be possibly a little bit too mattifying. It's a little aging. And a red lipstick that I haven't brought out since I was blonde last time, I think, and maybe it's dead. Yeah, I think it might have reached its use-by date. But before that, I haven't been wearing any makeup because I've been breaking out. But I put it on today because I was doing a video, and I don't want you to see the breakout because I'm in my mid-40s and I've possibly got worse pimples than I've ever had in my life. It's great. It's great. Never mind. Where was I? Oh, so much talk. The outfit that I'm wearing today is actually all from, the fabrics are both from Pitt Trading. So Pitt Trading, which I think I've said in the past, I thought was a Queensland company. They're not, they're from Sydney. I don't know where I got Queensland from. And I think both of these knits I bought last year. They have had, and I think going up again, they've got a second lot, some really, because they do designer, what do you call it, offcuts, cast-offs, designer labels that are selling off their excess fabric. And they have had some really amazing, like very summery Australian, like swimwear and caftani type fabrics in that are so off-season at the moment, but they're so beautiful. It must be a very nice Australian label that they've come from, because some of them are silks and very fine embroidery on glazes. Beautiful. And yeah, printed lycras, which if you want, like, printed lycra from Pitt Trading seems to sell like that. Like that. It's just gone. But they do get some really, really beautiful prints. I've never managed to nab any. Not that I'm really planning on making anything out of printed lycra, but, you know. One day I could make my own swimsuit. It might happen. I mean, I make lingerie all the time. It's not that much different to make my own swimsuit. Yeah, I've got no excuse on that one. Alrighty, so yes, I've been working on the new brand image. That's where I was going with this conversation. Which I'm very inspired at the moment by this kind of post-World War I, pre-World War II, Art Deco, 30s, 40s, Depression era kind of look. Yeah, I don't know how that's relevant to what I've made today, but it's slightly 20s, I guess. Warm, slightly 20s kind of an outfit. No, that's why I've convinced myself not to buy stuff from I've so far convinced myself not to buy anything from Lush Fabrics because it's not got that 20s, 30s, 40s kind of vibe that I'm going for, I think. Anyway, I'm thinking of painting my kitchen celadon green. It's a beautiful deco colour. Look, all these plans that I have and the no time that I have for them, it's great. It's working out well. Yeah, I don't know how I had another job prior to doing this. I mean, the reason why I started doing this and doing it every month is because I'd lost my main source of income because of COVID, pandemic, blah, blah, blah. But really, honestly, my client took that opportunity and ran with it. And so she's been working with me nearly full time. So yeah, and then doing videos, possibly repainting my kitchen. At the moment, like I have been eating really, really bad food because I can't cook anything because the light bulb has gone in the kitchen and it's dark. Yeah, my excuses are next level. I could replace the light globe, you're right. Funny that. I have to get up. Anyway. That could be another reason for my breakout. It's just no home cooking going on around here. This cardigan I made, just get back onto the sewing. I hope you're enjoying this. I clearly don't have enough people to talk to in my life. Right, so the cardigan is a hack of this 1980s Simplicity pattern by Kathy Hardwick. It's actually a dress for your overlock and serger, but I didn't do the part that made it into a dress. So the pattern pieces on the front, okay, I'll show you the pattern. Very 80s. Love those shoulder pads. Strangely enough, I did not include those. And when I bought it, I kind of thought it was just like a wrap cardigan, or maybe if it was a dress, there'd just be a button in it. But actually, this top piece is sewn onto the bottom piece. So to make what I've done, which has actually turned out to be a very kind of 1920s cocoon cardigan, so you can see on this drawing better that, yeah, that's stitched down, which means that the pattern piece, pattern piece B has this little hook on it so that it can go into pattern piece A. Is A the front? Yeah, A is the front. You can see the little shawl collary bit on the top. So what I did instead, just to make it this wrap thing, is I cut 2 A's and the back C here, and completely ignored B. So yeah, it's just this pattern piece on both sides. So it's just a drapey cardigan, and nice and long. Can you see the bottom? Yay. Yeah, so it's just a dolman sleeve, no sleeve head. As I usually find with patterns all the time, very, very wide here when the illustration, or the lady wearing it, that's not wide. She's got very tight sleeves. What is going on with my sleeves? This happens to me all the time, particularly with 80s, 90s patterns. Like hers are like that. Anyway, that's how I've ended up with this very 80s cocoon shape, I think. 80s, sorry. 20s? Oh, there were cocoon jackets in the 80s as well. It was a little bit tricky to sew just because this knit is amazing. Like seriously, it must have cost a fortune to send it all the way to WA, I swear. It is so heavy. Like you can physically feel the weight when you put it on, like the weight on your shoulders. I'm just like, wow. And it's, yeah, really, really beautiful and warm. I have no idea what it's made of. It's a designer remnant from Pitt Trading. Sewing it was a little tricky because the ribs are so deep and the fabric is so heavy that if you sew through and get it off the rib, like it's really obvious when it's gone over a rib. So you can see sort of the wrinkling. I kind of hate this. That's happened just down the bottom on both sleeves. That's a 2-part reason why that's happened. But yeah, so as it goes over my machine and these really, really thick ribs, it's kind of created, like it sort of tries to flatten it out and push it through, so it makes it longer than it actually is. If that makes sense. Like it's trying to flatten those ribs out, so as it's stitching through, it's making the stitching line longer than what the fabric in its normal sort of state would be. And so that's like the fabric's trying to revert back to its shape. But now we've got this. The double reason why we've got this is because I've done a grosgrain ribbon trim finishing on top of that seam. Now I always do it in the shoulder seams for my knits. Well, not always grosgrain, but I do like a grosgrain. And so then it holds the shape so it's not stretching out across the back and stretching out across the shoulders and becoming longer and longer, particularly with the weight of this knit. The problem was, since there's no shoulder seam, there's kind of no spot to stop putting the ribbon in. I mean, I could have just stopped, I guess, stitched it off, but I decided not to and went all the way down the sleeves, and now there's kind of, yeah, it's helping to create that wrinkling, which annoys me. I don't like it. Never mind. Never mind. I also kind of use the selvage on the inside, which is like mega cheating. And then I stitched those facings down. So now sometimes when it sits open, I've got this selvagey kind of, yeah, it's not bad. At first I was like, oh my God, what were you thinking? but yeah, it's like a trim, right? What if I wore it inside out? Okay, this is a bit weird. Does that look better? I've got the little trim all the way down the sides, and then you can see my stripe. Only now I've got exposed underarm seams and a back seam. Yeah, that's an idea. Alright, okay, while I've got this off and I'm just slightly warm enough to be able to deal with it, this is the dress that I made. I actually, I mentioned it I think in the last video, my cotton on thrifted black maxi dress that I've worn to death, and to the point where, do not look at the back of my hair by the way, I've just shoved it up there. And there's a mixture of black hair bobby pins and blonde hair bobby pins because I can't find all the blonde hair ones. Yeah, look, I'm trying. Maxi dress. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I just rubbed it off the pattern of the other one. It's just bodice and then like a really A-line skirt shape. It's slightly lower than an empire waist, and then there's a central seam down the back in the skirt, but the back is just a sort of straight across bit. I do think, and I've just already made the alterations to the pattern, if I wanted to make it again, then I'll just arch up that piece so it's like a dart that comes out of there, because it just seems to be a little bit long under here. But it could be the fabric. Again, it's just a rib knit from Pitt Trading. I think it was a remnant, but they do seem to have quite a bit of sort of rib knitty type stuff on the side. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of nice because it's not too clingy. Like a rib knit normally is kind of quite clingy, but it's not too bad. I mean, I guess the shape of this dress, this is why I like it so much, is kind of skims over rather than you know, clings to you. Okay, I think that's about enough. If I have managed to edit some footage of Frankie on the end of this, then this was Frankie, my baby girl. Alright, see you guys. Bye.